Hello, good evening, and welcome back. How's it, guys? It's Pepper's Echo. You're watching the live echo. And yes, it's been another week, and it's been quite a testing week that we've had because the COVID cases have been a little bit higher than expected in Cambodia. Schools aren't open yet, so we're still teaching online. And yeah, things seem to be escalating a little bit more than expected. So we are still very, very cautiously only traveling to work and back home and sitting tight. So very, very difficult to do anything or get anything done away from home. But otherwise, I do believe it is very similar in South Africa, that even then it's time to be a little bit different. And Linda, always good to hear from you. So great to hear from you. I have some good news for you as well. Welcome. Good afternoon, Linda. Super to have you in the echo again. You are such a rock star always. But I have some good news for you. Ronaldo actually replied, and hopefully by end of March, beginning of April, we should be having Ronaldo on the live echo. I am really stoked and extremely excited about it as well. Very, very much so. So, all in all, welcome to Pepper's Echo, guys. Like and subscribe. I would be most appreciative. It's the only way that I can get to share and maybe increase the volumes on this channel a little bit. We do every Sunday live streaming from South African time, 2 o'clock, Cambodian time, 7 o'clock in the evening. And it's always good to have people around. It's even better when we're asking questions, we're dealing with questions and that. And what do? We look at things in South Africa usually, but I am open to looking at it anywhere in the world. And just take a look what's been happening for the week and how we feel about it and agree about it. Doesn't have to be South Africa. Tonight, we don't only have South Africa. We have a little bit of UK on there. Yep, I am stoked about Ronaldo. I really am. And sounds like such a nice chap as well, because he's, you know what, for a channel this small, for him to say, yeah, cool, I'll come on, was really good. He's just been a little hectic of late, I know. He's also shortened. He's not on every evening. He's on Mondays, he's on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays now. And unfortunately, it is 1 a.m. in the morning when he's live, so it is very difficult for me to catch him live, but I do catch him the very next day. Always something interesting to talk about. As I say, Pepper's Echo, the man in the street from the outside looking in. We try and take a look at a few opinions, ask the questions, but if you're looking for the deep dive and the low down and dirty, I always suggest that you go and take a look at Ronaldo Gous. And as I said, Ronaldo Gous hopefully will be end of March, beginning of April, will be joining us on the show, which I'm really stoked about. Also suggest a Chris Wyatt. I suggest Roman Cabernac with Morning Shot, and Joe Emilio. Joe Emilio does a lot of stuff on the ground as well, which is really, really good and interesting. And last but not least, Germ. I must say, Germ, I'm a little bit behind in catching up to you there. I do apologize, but he has always got pretty interesting things to say, and his guests are really interesting as well. But a little bit more, if you're wanting to see Ramon, Chris, Ronaldo, Germ, Joe, I have their links in the comments below. We'll be putting them in there as soon as we have finished the show. But yeah, otherwise, please like and subscribe. If there is anything at all that you have on your mind that you would like us to talk about, if there is anything that you would like to suggest or like to hear about, if there are any comments that you have that you don't want to put onto the comments while we are live, or if you caught it on the replay, please drop us a mail at peppersecho@gmail.com, PEPRSECHO. I know there isn't an E after the P. It is supposed to be that way until I get big enough to get my own email website as such. But up until then, so thank you very much for tuning in. And those who are watching it on the rerun, really, really do appreciate it. So what have I got today? Got a couple of things lined up. No videos today. Let's take a look what's happened in South Africa this week so far. So Steinhoff is starting to mark their own homework, or else they're actually taking an apple for teacher, one of the two. But Steinhoff, the NPA has confirmed it's received money from Steinhoff to assist in the forensic probe into the company's auditing scandal, but insists there is no conflict of interest and says mechanisms are in place to prevent interference. You know what? If I pay you to investigate me, it's like the government setting up their own guys to investigate their own corruption. But yeah. The Financial Mail is reporting that Steinhoff has agreed to give investigators from the Hawks and the NPA 30 million rand to finance the investigation into the immense fraud at the company because the state doesn't have a budget. You know what? If the company is feeling that that's a problem, or that they're a victim to it, or something to that effect, surely the company should be pulling out these problems and not going, well, here's money, find our problem. You know, it's like making a word puzzle and giving it to somebody and saying, yeah, see if you can solve my word puzzle. No, you know, yeah, because let's carry on. The NPA's Sipho Ngwema says there is no conflict of interest here. None whatsoever. We just gave you 30 million rand and said, yeah, if we give you the money, will you look nicely into us? But anyway, people must separate between the company as an entity, which is also a victim of some of the things that would have happened in the company that would lead to its collapse. I don't know, guys. I question it. You know, is it the company that said, oh, well, you know what? Dude's not here anymore. Please help us find the mistakes, because we don't. One person did not create that mistake. I'll tell you that now. There's a lot more people with a finger in the pie, or that turned away a blind eye, or something to that effect. But hey, who are we to say? But yeah, 30 million. Do what you like with it. Go buy Kentucky. Hey, Streetwise 2 and pop. And I won't say a thing about it. Yeah, you know, 240,000 for a broom or something to that effect, wasn't it? Anyway, we're not going to go that way. So Steinhoff is actually marking their own homework, or giving the teacher an apple to get a few better scores. So I don't know if they're hoping to get some better news out of there or not. But yeah, they are doing their very best in taking care of it. Next, I thought I'd just pop that in there. Just for a little bit, because this day and age is so sensitive. So like, there's dad going, what's the magic word to get what you want? The little guy looks at me and says, I'm offended. Because that's all you have to say these days to get anything right. I am actually offended at the fact that people are offended at everything that seems to offend them, that shouldn't offend them these days. It's a major offense. Yeah, no, it is ridiculous. I mean, you can just fart skew and somebody's offended these days. I mean, school is offending, university is offending. We'll get through there now. Statues are offending, roads are offending, town and city names are offending. You know what? Smell is offending. Your look is offending. I mean, what did we speak about last week? Coke. Be less white. You know, to be white is offending these days. I mean, please, really? Where do we come with all this stuff? But anyway, I just thought, I was going through stuff and I was busy getting, every day I try and find a little piece here and there and stick it together on the slideshow. And tell me if you like the slideshow like this or not, or if I must rather try and pick it up off the pages. All the source material that I actually use this is downstairs in the comments. I will stick it in there as soon as this video has gone on. But yeah, offense these days seems to be the order of the day. And yeah, the race card as well. So let's take a look. So sadly, this ugly cobra has stuck its head out once more again. Another farm murder. Another farm murder. Let me just change that, because that seems to be irritating me. There we go. Much better. Another farm murder. So a 70-year-old farmer was found murdered and tied to one of his vehicles on Monday, the 8th of March, 2021, in the Uwagis region in Mpumalanga. 70 years old. 70. Murdered. I ask you with tears in my eyes, but we don't have a problem, do we? Bertus Steenberg lived alone on the farm Newport. His family became concerned when they had not heard from him since Friday. When they could not get any answer from him, they asked the neighbors to go and have a look. They found Steenberg's farmhouse ransacked, and he was tied to a vehicle with a nylon rope. His hands and feet were bound as well. It seems that the nylon rope and the shirt were used to strangle Steenberg. He had also been assaulted, as there were injuries to his head and face. Now, really, his white Toyota Hilux Bucky registration, if you've seen it anywhere or hear of it anywhere, registration number JWC645MP, and 2 cell phones are missing. But you assault and murder an old 70-year-old man for 2 cell phones and his Bucky. One slap should have done it, and you could have taken the cell phones and the Bucky. But there's a little bit more to this. We're definitely looking at more. And once again, another farm murder. These things are coming by on a weekly basis. I really, really want to see what I can find as I go along. But you can check with the guys. It's absolutely phenomenally ludicrously ridiculous as we go by. Another farm murder. And something that you can have a little bit of a shit your shorts on. More than 100 crocodiles on the loose in Mpumalanga following persistent rains. Pity these crocodiles didn't get hold of those murderers, because I don't think the police are going to, so hopefully they do. But yeah, communities in the Hazy View and surrounding areas in Mpumalanga are living in fear after more than 100 crocodiles that escaped from an enclosure are still at large. 100 crocodiles from an enclosure. It's reported that the crocodile enclosure on the farm in the area collapsed during the recent persistent rains, and over 160 reptiles escaped. So they seem to have picked up 60 of them, but there's still another 100 just floating around the place over there, which is a little bit of a concern. First of all, it is a responsibility, and I do believe your crocodile areas and your farms and that should be, it's like having a lion farm and saying the fence fell down. Really? If you've got lions and tigers and things to that effect, dangerous animals, you should have deal fencing, etc., prepped for this. The crocodiles are now believed to be in the river and dams around the White River, Hazy View, and surrounding areas. That would be terrible for the guys going fishing, and suddenly you got this crocodile running around. I remember I stayed in a garden flat in Nelspruit. That is in Mpumalanga, for those who don't know South Africa. But I stayed in a people's garden flat, and they had this like really, really cute little sausage dog, little Dachshund. His name is Brackenjan. And they used to, they were avid campers and avid outdoor people, etc. And they used to go camping and that along, and Brackenjan used to go with them. This little dog used to go everywhere with him. He had the heart of a lion, absolute heart of a lion. What a wonderful little chap. I loved that little dog to bits as well, but the family loved him even more, and he was with them always. Except for when they went camping on a certain place, I had to look after him for the weekend because there were crocodiles. And Brackenjan, in all his intelligence, a miniature Dachshund, little ball about this big with a lion heart, would attack the crocodiles. So we couldn't take him there. Well, they couldn't take him there. I got to look after him. So, yeah. More than 50 have been recaptured, while over 100 are still nowhere to be found. The children like this place. Try and get that crap away there. Whoops. Back. There we go. The children like this place. Even the elders come to swim here. So, I mean, you've got children swimming in the rivers and that. Children are children. I mean, we used to swim in the rivers when we were small as well. It's nice. And even the elders come here to swim. Swim, bathe, piss in the river. I don't know. But you know what? You've got young kids. You've got old people in those rivers. They also use them for church purposes, baptisms, things like that, other rituals, etc., all performed in the river, which are now crocodile infested. Talking about Lake Placid. Anyway, we would like authorities to assist us and remove the crocodiles. It is not safe because the river is overflowing. We can't see where the crocodiles are yet. It is not safe at all, says a resident. Well, I should imagine it's not safe. And as I said, puts a new spin on Lake Placid. But Yeah, do you really think they're going to catch every single one of those crocodiles? My worry is if those start breeding in those rivers over there, you're going to have crocodile infested rivers for, yeah, many, many years to come as such. Oh my freaking goodness. Can you believe this crap? I don't know. And it's got 31% of the UK, the moor in. For English people, very, very upset with the royal family. Absolutely the moor in with the royal family. Because old Harry and Megs go and sit down and chat to Mrs. Race herself, Oprah, about the royal family's anti their relationship and anti this and how hard it's been and how nasty it's been and how they have been ousted and how racist the royal family is. And of course, Oprah laps this up like eating putty pop in a flippin' plastic bowl with a spoon, because she smarks anything that goes racist. I'm sorry. You know what? Oprah's a good interviewer. And she had a you get one and you get one. And if you look under your seat, you all get one. And it was always very, very nice. She really paid the audience well. But she is a racist, I'm afraid, in my eyes as well, because anything that she can twist and turn, she does. Of course, so she gets Meghan and Harry on. And what a pot of snot. But anyway, so Piers Morgan on I said, Good Morning Britain, he lets them have it. He grills them on everything. He actually just, bam, puts it out there. So then his colleague, who I believe is the weatherman, I stand corrected, actually grills him the one morning, goes, yeah, but you had something for Meghan, and you and Meghan was something, and she left you for Harry, and then she blocked you, and she's allowed to block you, and you've had nothing nice to say about her since then, and blah, blah, blah. And of course, he just lets Piers have it. So Piers just said, you know what? I don't have to take this shit no more. Got up in the middle of Good Morning Britain and stormed off and resigned. That's it. I'm finished. I don't need to take this shit. And yes, the man has a bit of a strong opinion and he is a bit of an arrogant tot, but I don't know. I think he was right. However, the polls do show that at least 31% of the British are now wanting the royal heads rolling. So, yeah, what do we look at? Piers Morgan stormed off Good Morning Britain as co-star Alex Beresford. There he is. He looks like a little snotter himself, but anyway. Branded his behavior diabolical following comments he made as he discussed the Harry and Meghan interview. Now, a lot of the comments that I've got over here and a lot of the lines that I've got over the next 2 or 3 pages, I'm actually giving this thing far too much air. But anyway, so be it. I have, and he blurted it out there, because there you've got these 2 billionaires with another billionaire sitting in an absolute phenomenally beautiful villa complaining about how victimized they are and how they are struggling so. And she's sitting on the other side going, I can relate. I understand. Shame. You know what? There's actually really people struggling in this world, and you are far from struggling. I mean, Harry and Meghan featured explosive claims from the couple about racial hostility coming from within the Britain's royal family, especially Meghan's allegations that before the couple's first child was born, the palace held conversations about how dark his skin might be. Now, I think Meghan's father was black and his father was white and his mother was black or something like that. But up until actually these things came around, I was like, Meghan's white. And I must give credit to the Cliff Central or Gareth Cliff's morning show. It's Gareth Cliff in the morning from 6 to 8 a.m. I usually listen to it at about 12 o'clock in the day here in Cambodia, but I must give credit to them because this is what they were discussing. And you know what? If you look at Meghan and you're going, Meghan, what's black about you? But she wants to be black. She's a social. It obviously can't be that bad to be black these days, because it doesn't matter how white you are, you want to be black. You know what? I have an ancestral who is my mother's uncle's grandfather's great-great-grandfather's great-great-grandniece's great-great-grand-cousin's great-great-grand dog was owned by a black woman. I'm black. Because I looked at Meghan, I went like, Meghan, you're whiter than many of my friends who are classified as white. So where are you coming with, I feel my roots are black, you know? It's probably your hair roots or something like that. But anyway, Winfrey confirmed Monday it was neither he nor his wife, Queen Elizabeth II, who raised the question about Archie's skin tone. So yeah, it wasn't Prince Philip and it wasn't his wife apparently, but they're still not saying who it was who said, well, how dark is your baby's skin going to be? Oh, well, freaking hell, two people as lily white as the freaking flowers behind them, and we're expecting a black baby? Look, if that baby came out black, Harry, I would seriously be questioning my wife's loyalty. But anyway, that's me. But when Winfrey asked about the treatment of the other royals by the media, Meghan said while other members had been treated rudely, they had not experienced racism, adding that her treatment had been different because of her biracial and American heritage. Yeah, I think there was another one where she said no one taught her what to do and she didn't know how to curtsy or to sing the national. For crying out loud, you're marrying the freaking Prince of Britain. You know what? Before you went to boink the guy and you decided that you were going to like try and steer into the royal family to steal him and steer him out of the royal family and then go and diss the royal family, surely just etiquette will tell you how. And surely if you're going to become a part of the royal family, you can get your sweet ass up and start learning the words to the Britain's national anthem. But anyway, they moaned about the terrible pain of their royal titles, but were also outraged their son Archie wasn't allowed to be prince. This is one of the things that Pierce had brought up. He said, oh, you know what, we don't want to be this and we don't want to be a prince and a queen and a Dutch and a whatever. But now they are outraged because their son Archie cannot be carry the title of prince. Well, first of all, Archie can't carry the title of prince because brother's kids are in the way over there. Let's take a look. I've missed it out. Sorry. Let's take a look here. The Meghan and Harry thing irritates me so much. They don't want the press to hound them, but then they do interviews. Exactly, Linda. Exactly. They don't want to hear what the newspaper. We don't read newspapers at all. Then why are you complaining about what's in the newspapers? They say they were forced to sign gazillion-dollar deals with Netflix and Spotify because Prince Charles cut off their allowance. Well, you left. You didn't want it anymore. You know what? You didn't want royal pay. You weren't going to carry out royal duties. So despite Harry inheriting millions from his late mother, Princess Diana, and having his entire life bankrolled by the royal family, they are now forced out of poverty-stricken victims to sign deals with Netflix and Spotify. Please, Harry is still drawing money from Diana's and I don't think she was as innocent as what everyone's made. She was the people's princess, and sure, she was a good person. In her absence, yeah. As they say, really, really sorry to hear about Meghan's car accident next month. Kidding. But yes. Now that one's been used, Queenie. You got to figure out another one. But yeah, in the middle of a pandemic that has already taken over 2.5 million lives, a staggeringly rich and entitled couple living in a 14 million sun-kissed California mansion wanted us all to know they are the real victims around here. So they troll onto Oprah. Meghan's claiming she's black, with the royal family being racist towards them. They are poor and they can't afford. I think, what was this sold for? 107 million. This interview was sold for to a TV station. And I think it was like 3 million a minute or something like that for an ad or second. I don't know. So, yeah. Attention-seeking little snots. Meghan claimed to have been left suicidal by the pressure of being a princess and had her requests for her help rejected by the cold, heartless palace. I don't believe that for a second. And that's what Piers Morgan said. And of course, he was thrashed for that. I mean, how can you, this strong actress who knows her life, runs her life, knows what she's getting into, surely should have just actually gone and used Google to see what happens in the royal family, known what's happened in Diana's life, spoken to Fergie, spoken to I've forgotten all the other royals' names and things like that, and got advisors and buddies and friends and everyone, and realized, hey, you know what, this is what I'm going to go in. I'm going into royalty. I'm not going in to pull out, but I became suicidal because the pressure of all the money and the gifts and you know what, I'm sure it's a lot with the attention and things to that effect, but that is what you are in. You're signing up for it. Royalty, that's what it is. And then she was rejected by the cold, heartless palace. Oh, you poor victim. I'm sorry. I don't really feel much for it. I know 31% of Britain is outraged by this, but yeah. Meghan told Oprah that a member of the royal family had queried what color her baby would be during a conversation with Harry. I do believe that was a stupid, stupid question. If it was a serious question, if it was a question at all. Because right now it's like we the victims said, and how dare you contradict what we said. Meghan followed up by asserting with providing evidence that the royal family decided to change the rules specifically to prevent her son Archie from being a prince because of his skin color. I don't know, is it possible to make this shit up? Because really, yeah, there we go. Linda, a very good question. If you were suicidal from the pressure, she was a high-rolling, very, very popular actress. What about the pressure she had there? What about the pressure she had as an actress? She had commitments and things far probably beyond, and she didn't have people waiting on her hand and foot. There you paid for anybody who waited on your hand and your foot. And now she's claiming, yes, that they specifically changed. She has evidence that the royal family decided to change the rules to prevent son Archie from being a prince. Well, son Archie, even if he was in the royal title, I stand corrected, so please don't shoot me. But I'm just thinking that, hey, even if Archie was still in royalty, I don't think he'd be a prince. I think he would be a duke or something to that effect, because brother Harry, oh Jesus, just shot him straight out of my ass. His sons are the princes. Charles is next in line. Then it's the eldest son, and then his kids. So, you know what, Archie would have been his dukiness. But seeing as they've cut everything off, he is not entitled to it. What a load of cod's wallop. But yeah, I know the Queen just released a note saying, you know what, she's very distressed at what she has heard that Meghan said, and they will be dealing with it inside the royal family or inside the car, which I think is pretty dignified. Look, you know what, I think any normal person knows snobbery and snottery is what the royal family is. That's what they are. You know what, you've got to be a snob. Like it, don't like it, that's what it is. They have a lot of pressure on engagements and things like that. They have people waiting on your hand and foot. And I agree with you, Linda. What about all the pressure you had as an actress? Where did that pressure go? Where did coping in a world that she worked so hard to? I mean, she's rejected her father now, and you know what? She's such a victim with so much money. She doesn't know what to do with it. How about looking around? You know what? At least Diana looked around and actually did something in the world. She carried out her royal duties right to the almost very, very end. She was still deeply involved in landmine projects, and she was with AIDS patients, and she was, you know what, she still kept up a profile. I think her pressure was from old Charles wanting to Roger Camilla too badly, and I don't know why you'd want to do that, because, wow, Diamond was far better looking than Camilla, but hey, you know what, who am I to say? Suppose the royal family has their own problems as well, but I think I'm giving them so much airtime. Nobody told me how to curtsy or sing the British national anthem. wailed a 39-year-old woman married to someone who can probably help with both. Curtsy? Who do you want to learn? You're a freaking actor and you can't curtsy? And the British national anthem, I think it's taken for granted. You should know it if you're going to marry into it. But yeah. But make no mistake, this interview will be a triumph for Meghan in America. She's got exactly what she wants, her homeland feeling sorry for her. And woe betide anyone who criticizes Meghan, for you will be instantly lambasted as a racist bully towards a woman who stands accused of subjecting her own young female palace staff to horrendous bullying. Okay, a lot of, as I said, this is what Piers was pulled over the coals for, and you know what? I think he's justified to give an opinion like this. There are far too many people that roll over and go, "Oh, she's still fucking foitoch. But yeah, Harry claimed Charles stopped taking his calls last January after he and Meghan quit their country and their royal family and cut off his massive financial allowance too. What was he supposed to get an allowance for? You know what? I'm tuning the royal family to go and jump. I'm tuning Britain to go up themselves. But by the way, Britain is responsible for lining my pockets, even though I've got millions and millions and millions. But you know what? I need the extra millions as well. Miss Markle won't care about the damage she's done to an institution she clearly reviles. I mean, that is seriously, I agree. You know what? The royal family has a certain status to keep up, and they have done it probably amicably, I would say. I mean, I'm not one for supporting them. I think they've had as much atrocity as any form of leadership in the past and during their time of reign. And yeah, they've had their own, like as they call them, the firm, their own like little mafia type of thing or whatever, etc., etc. But they still have been the royal family and they have carried out their duties. And yeah, Queen Elizabeth is still holding onto the throne at what, 94, I think. It's good. So Miss Markle, she doesn't care about the damage she's done to institutions she clearly reviles. But what about Harry? That he can actually just go and piss on his own family like that? That he can tell Britain to go and suck eggs is another thing. I don't know. The fact he's so willingly taken part in such a despicable public attack on the royal family, his family, and the monarchy is utterly shameful, which I must agree. I mean, since when do you turn around and trash your own parents, your own homeland, and your own health? I mean, I come from South Africa. I think the government there stinks. I think the ANC, you guys know what my feeling is on the ANC. But I have beyond no doubt always and will always state that it is one of, if not the most beautiful country in the world. There's South Africa, and my heart always has a piece there. And maybe, and pray, I really pray that one day that I could return there. Right now, I wouldn't find work there. I wouldn't find happiness there. I wouldn't find safety, and I wouldn't find joy there. Even if I went back, and if I maybe got a job there, and possibly was able to get some kind of a little hole to stay in, I would be surviving on really probably very low salary, long hours, bad work treatment. And you know what? You've got to say realistically, is that what I want? I'd love to buy a little place there, even if it's just a one-bedroom flat that I could retire in. I don't have, you know what I have is what I have. I don't have these huge investments and things and stuff to that effect. I'm no rich banana, but I still think South Africa is a great country, and I do believe that the people can make it work if the leadership will allow it. So when it comes to mental health and having a heart, it appears Meghan and Harry only care about themselves. I think I've given them far too much airtime as it is already. But let's take a look at the next thing. So what do we care about in South Africa? So students protest, death must be brought to book. If you take a look at the picture there, our well-behaved future leaders, future lawyers, future engineers, future teachers who are going to be educating our children future businessmen and women who are going to be carrying the economy of South Africa on their shoulders, leave a place burning and trashed, if you can take a look there. It is absolutely ridiculous. A man was fatally shot while police officers were dispersing Wits University students protesting over tuition fees. It's understood that he was coming out of a local clinic when he was shot, and by no means am I condoning the fact that this man was shot at all. I think it is absolute tragedy that somebody has to die. But I'm querying the fact that why should there have been shots fired? But if you look at this absolute disgusting animal way in which this protest has been going on, I mean, take a look there. There's this burning tire over here or something burning over there. There's trash there. There's trash there. I mean, no self-respecting human being does that. I mean, imagine if we'd done that at Senekal. There would have been like, whoa, look at what the farmers are doing. But when you come into town, the students can actually go boss. They can go animals. They can go ape. It's ridiculous. Deputy Higher Education Minister Buti Manamela has called for those responsible for the death of a man during the student protest in Bromfontein on Wednesday to be brought to book. What about the fact of these absolute despicable acts? I mean, that's not a protest. That is vandalism. And that they actually have to have fired shots, and it's rubber bullets, to have dispersed these people is ridiculous. I mean, that is our future standing there. It shudders. I've just said to you, I'd like to buy a place to go back to South Africa to retire in. But it looks like I'm going to be retiring Mad Max Fury Road. The man was shot while police officers were dispersing Wits University students protesting over tuition fees again. We don't want to pay. We'll get to that part now. But we don't want to pay. We want everything given to us. We are so used to getting that now we don't want to give for anything anymore. How many students have to pay student loans off? There aren't everybody. And then, yeah, sure, there's some that have got mommy and daddy who've got good bank accounts. And I'm talking black and white here, buddies. There aren't only white students that have mommy and daddy that pays their studies. There are many black students that have it as well. There are many black students that don't. But there are many students in South Africa. There's many students in the UK. There's many students in Asia. There's many students in the USA. There's many students all over Europe, Australia, New Zealand, everywhere, that have to actually work a job at night and study to pay their studies. I remember one of my colleagues, she worked at a restaurant with me, and sometimes she got to the end of the month and didn't have money to pay her water and lights, and she would be studying and learning with a candle. She was able to pay her little flat rent, which wasn't exactly the greatest of places, but she paid her studies, and that there was nobody who gave her anything. And she couldn't go and burn the streets up and that. 2 student reporters were injured and 3 protesters were arrested and taken to the Hillbrow police station. Why? Wits has made available health and counseling services because, once again, I'm offended, to students and members of the community who need assistance. The university notes with deep concern the escalation of the situation, which is regrettable, and the university calls on all persons to remain calm during this difficult time. These little shits. So the students have made demands now as well. Look there. I demand. I want 50%. Yeah. The South African Union of Students has threatened to call for a national shutdown of tertiary campuses next week if Minister of Higher Education, Science and Innovation, Blade Nzimande, does not meet some of their demands, or meet their demands. Sorry, I didn't type so well there. I don't know why. But if he does not meet their demands by Friday, that was handed in on the 12th of March. Now, no wonder Solidariteit are building their own campus. I think it's in Stellenbosch somewhere, whatever. Because they're not going to stand for this shit. For these little peeking snotters to go and close down. Because let me tell you, there are students who are wanting to study, students who don't have money to study, who are busting their butt on a second job, who are paying from the blood and sweat of their brows to study and to work, to do a restaurant job, to do whatever measly work there is to get themselves through studying, and they are being denied this by these flippin' thugs. South African Union of Students, my freaking ass. There's some of their demands. The clearance of historical debts for all students to ensure smooth registration. So let me give you an idea. They want to clear all the back debts. That's about 10 billion. It's in the source below if you want to read it. That's about 10 billion rand that they want. Okay, you don't owe anything anymore. So you know what I want to do? Yeah, you're correct. Campus in Pretoria. It is in the. They were in the streets of Pretoria, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere over there. I'm not sure. I can go back one. But yeah, I think they were going to like the Wits head office or something like that, etc., etc. But yeah, running through the streets, burning and throwing everything around. It's absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, they want the debt wiped out. So you know what? I'm going to buy a house. I'm not going to pay for a year or two. And then I'm going to say, listen, what I owe you on that house for the last 2 years, wipe it out, okay? I'm going to start trying to pay now. But forget about, I'm not going to pay what I was owing. I'm going to, no, I'm living in this house. I'm moving back in tomorrow again. And you can't kick me out because I want to, I want my debt cleared. I want to rent. You know what? I should just say, you know what? My last rent is, I haven't paid for about 6 months now, but I tell you what, just clear my rent and I'll start trying to pay from next month. I need to sign a new contract. Would you honestly sign with that person again? They haven't made any attempt, but they want fees to fall because they want free because they're used to getting it all free. Next one. So, oh, sorry, the Solidarity Campus. Sorry, okay, thank you very much. So the Solidarity Campus. Yes, and have you seen what they've done with that campus, by the way? Looking beautiful. It is absolutely stunning. You know what the sad part is? They built it for Afrikaans because our country is so anti having Afrikaans anyway, which is actually the biggest load of bullshit under the sun. Look, I'm number one with a bullet that says to you, English is what you should be speaking in South Africa. English should be the South African national language, and English should be the language that you're doing business and you're doing, and I think it is. English is the business language and English is the governmental language as such. That's why they do, not freaking 950 million other languages and such, including Afrikaans, because I don't believe that Afrikaans has a use anywhere else in the world other than in South Africa. Although over here in Cambodia, don't kid yourself. You can't walk down the street and say something in Afrikaans to somebody without somebody turning around going, did I hear Afrikaans? And then they talk to you. So, yeah, we've got a lot of South Africans here. But you know what? I still believe, as much as what I think English is a beautiful language and properly utilized, it sounds beautiful as well. And I'm sure Xhosa and Zulu and Sotho and Tswana and them all have their beauty in their language. Same as Afrikaans. I think Afrikaans has it's almost got a cultural swirl in it. And it's, you know what, half my family is Afrikaans. So that's why I do believe, and it grates me when people don't use Afrikaans properly. You know what? Kons eet gou breakfast hier so. And I want to shit myself. Sorry. When Kons eet gou breakfast hier so. Yeah, breakfast. Ons eet gou ontbyt hierso. Ja. Ek like daai, ek hou baie van dit. Ja. It's just, you know what, it can roll off your tongue so beautifully. But yeah, so they're against Afrikaans. and that's why Solidaridad. Thanks for the correction there. It's in Pretoria, and that university they've done a lot with. I don't want to know, and I know there's a little thing on Facebook or Twitter and that as well. It says, you know what, 300 million. Look what university is Solidarity built a university, and the ANC pissed it away. Wow, you know what? The only sad thing is what I wanted to say is that it's an Afrikaans university and it's not open to English. But the minute you're open to English, you're going to have tires being burned, rubbish being thrown all the way, and wanting to say fees must fall and everything like that. And you know what? Stuff it. Give them everything they want. Privatize the rest and make them pay for it. And give them, see who teaches them. See who teaches them. The same bloody monkey who's burnt his I don't want to say it that way, I'm sorry. But the same flippin' idiot who's burnt the tire over there is going to become the lecturer for him tomorrow. But yeah, justice for the family of Mthokozisi Ntumbo was killed by the police on the 10th of March 2021 in Braamfontein during the protest outside of Wits. It sounds so brutal. He was killed by the police. You know what? It almost sounds like a policeman took his gun out, took careful aim, waited for him to step out of this chemist, if that is so, and actually aimed for a kill spot and pulled the trigger. I think out of absolute desperation, the police were trying to get these hooligans to disperse, and tragedy struck. I don't know how that man is going to live with himself, because I do not believe in any essence his intention was to kill anybody. His intention was the desperation of dispersing these flipping hooligans that weren't reacting to anything or responding to anything. An end to police brutality and victimization of protesting students. Well, then maybe students should be protesting in a humane and disciplined and proper etiquette way, and not like bloody animals. The immediate provision of postgraduate funding. Okay, so you know what? The country, the GDP is down the tubes. We've just seen the economies like lost points or whatever as well. We are so far behind. I don't know how many years it's going to take. I think Gareth and them were talking about it on Friday morning. I don't know how long it's going to take to get the economy to where it was. I don't know, years and years and years ago. And then I think what was it, 2018, 2017. Oh, that doesn't sound too bad, but they also don't take a look and go, hey, we were in a recession that time, so it's going to take years to get our economy to recession status. But we want it for free. They want laptops for students as the academic year starts. Where did that, whose arse did that fall out of? All students' allowances to be released in March at the start of the academic year, as landlords are already harassing students for payment. So you want free fees, free laptops, and you want allowances. Good grief. And this is going to fall out of whose ass? Because the ANC is too busy packing it into their pockets. But anyway, a 0% increase in fees for 2021 academic year. Fine, get some dumbass to teach you. You don't want to learn anyway. You're just going to go and be a hooligan. And the return of all students to campus under lockdown level 1. Students who are from homes with no connectivity already being excluded from online registration and classes. Guys, what did you think is going to happen? There are many students, and I'm sorry, who are making it happen. It's those who are wanting to sit on their ass and cry victim and wolf that this problem is going. You know what? I have seen and know of students that are at a huge disadvantage that are making this happen. And the problem is these idiots are making it difficult for them. These hooligans are putting these guys' hard work, all their effort and that in jeopardy because they can't carry on. They can't afford to miss studies. They can't afford to do a year over. They have worked themselves to the bone to make it, and they've studied hard and they've made it because they haven't turned around and went, oh, please, I'm a freaking victim. Somebody feed me. And yeah, sadly, some news. King Goodwill Zwelithini, our thoughts and prayers with his family and his country, has died. Good man. I have had no problem with him, but I also do not, even on my enemy, wish any form of ill being or death or anything like that. And I do sympathize with those that are close to him and his friends and family, and that the Lord be with them through this very challenging and sad time. Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi, the IFP founder and traditional prime minister to the Zulu monarch, confirmed this tragic news in a statement issued on Friday morning. It is with the utmost grief that I inform the nation of the passing of His Majesty King Goodwill Zwelithini Kabekuzulu, King of the Zulu Nation. Tragically, while still in hospital, His Majesty's health took a turn for the worse, and he subsequently passed away in the early hours of this morning. He was admitted to the intensive care unit in a private hospital last month after several unstable glucose readings. He did suffer from diabetes. I know there's a lot of stories going around. He died from COVID-related things, but yeah, I'm not going to push that back. I just think it is very sad. He actually became king in 1971, if I'm not mistaken, and has ruled ever since, and has done so pretty fairly. Just something I was taking a look at, and it was on Twitter, and Bianca, I'm actually put her up there because she gives me a pain in the ass. She's so like, oh, proud this. And you know, Unati Kwasi said, parents, not taxpayers, are responsible to pay for their children's education. Repeat until it sinks in. Not taxpayers. Bianca's like, well, let's keep the poor uneducated and the rich educated. Great thinking there. So who are the poor and who are the rich, Bianca? The poor are those who do not put the effort in. The rich are those who don't need to put the effort in. So Bianca would like taxpayers, who are very few in South Africa, to fit the bill for everyone's education. 10% of South Africa pays tax. I'm sucking that figure out of my thumb, okay? Could be a little bit more, but this is what they run their little budget on, is a little handful of people that pay tax. Now they want them to pay for everyone's education as well. This isn't Europe, where people are taxed highly. Everybody pays their tax and their education can be free. And their healthcare can be free because of the major tax bracket that they pay. But we don't have people paying tax. We don't even have people paying for electricity. So the government can't even put toilets in schools. They prefer to change city and street names. There is no such thing as free post-school education. There are many other arrangements that can be made. Let's chat about that. What other arrangements can be made? You know, what about student loans? What about getting a job with a company that is prepared to sponsor you? Yes, we don't have work. Why? Because we're not prepared to grow the damn economy. Because Bianca, they don't have the opportunity. They're all victims, remember. And the more you keep them victims, the more they'll stay victims, the more they'll act like victims. Even when they become rich. Take a look at Meghan and Harry. Go and fly a kite. Right, apparently blackouts, rolling blackouts, load shedding, rolling blackouts. We're supposed to go to Friday. Apparently they were extended to Sunday. I don't know if they were extended to Sunday. I'm not in South Africa. I fortunately have had light and power and have had no rolling blackouts in a country that is a third world country. And you can see it when you drive down the streets and the roads and everything to that effect. I do not claim this to be utopia, but we have had electricity. But do you still remember on the 12th of July, 2018, when Cyril Ramaphosa, Jeff Radebe, and Patrice Motsepe went to Saudi Arabia, and they put their caps in their hands and they begged, and the Saudis invested 10 billion at Eskom. You recall that same month on the 24th of July, 2018, Eskom signed a 33 billion loan with China Development Bank. Where were you when Eskom on the 29th of November 2018 announced that it needs 5 billion bailout? This is after 10 billion and a 33 billion In that same year, they want a 5 billion bailout. Where did the money invested and loaned from foreign government disappear to? How can we reconcile that money? Because the load shedding might get worse. So July 2018, Saudi Arabia invests, 133 billion rand. Sorry, it was $10 billion. My mistake. 133 billion rand in Eskom in July 2018. July 2018, China invests 33 billion in Eskom through, it was development bank loan. So July, August, September, October, November. 4 months later, Eskom wants 5 billion bailout from taxpayers and still can't keep the lights on. And if I'm not mistaken, you're taking a 7% electricity hike this year. But we want free education. Fees must fall. Wipe out that education. But then we're also going to piss all over things when the lights go out. Just for a little bit of shits and giggles, how bad do you feel for EFF voters? They have no freaking way how they're colonialized. If you saw these little birthday party last week, Juju messes with them. They don't know from one day to the next what's happening. Let's take a look on the left-hand side. Over here, Juju's got Zuma must fall. And about 2 or 3 weeks ago, there we go. We have the two flippin' thugs sitting having tea together. Juju went to visit Zuma, which now also has had the top six, or I don't know what's at the great top of the ANC, go and see him and had a long meeting with him. And Ace was saying that it went quite well. I think it took about 6 hours, the meeting. I think it was a virtual meeting and that as well that they had with Zuma about his not wanting to comply with the High Court's instruction to appear in front of the Zondo Commission. And that flippin' hooligan gets to decide whether he feels, let you or I not, comply to the High Court's ruling. Our asses would have been grass long time ago. No, he gets a special visit from these little ass kissers going, please, don't you want to? Nah, you know what? I think I'll see how I feel like you bunch of snotters around me over there. Really? Yes, and Juju doesn't know what he wants to do. Zuma must fall on the one side, and the next side, I'm having tea with Zuma. I can't stand Tsele. Tsele and the police are a bunch of idiots. Next thing, I'm sitting in a cynical courtroom next to Tsele for something I don't give a shit about. So lastly, I know I'm actually waffling quite a lot. I didn't think this was going to go so long. So how's your salary compare with the rest of South Africa, guys? If you earn a salary of 5,000 Rand or more per month and live in a household of one, then you are in the top 40% of rich South African, and 60% of the population is poorer than you. If you're in a household of one and you earn a salary of 5,000 a month. This is according to the World Inequality Database, a tool that lets you calculate how wealthy you are compared to others. I have the link in the sources downstairs as well. Quite a nice little thing. You go and chuck in your salary and how many people and all that and select your country, etc., etc. And you can see what the average income is and where you're sitting. But according to the tool, if you earn a salary of 5,000 per month and live in a household of more than one, then you're on the bottom 38% of South Africans. This means that 62% of that population, that population is richer than you. In other words, gentlemen, if you earn 5,000 or less, don't get married because you're still in the top. The minute you get married, you go to the bottom. If you earn a salary of 10,000 Rand per month and live in a household of 5 people or above, you're also in the bottom 30%, meaning 70% of the population is richer than you. Figure that one out. Unemployment in South Africa. Last month, Stats South Africa revealed that the unemployment rate in the fourth quarter, it's the last quarter of 2020, increased by 1.7% percentage points to 32.5% compared to the third quarter. But then again, this is the highest since the start of the quarterly labor force survey in 2008. And I do believe that is an absolute false figure, my opinion. Stats South Africa said the unemployment rate, according to the expanded definition of unemployment, decreased by 0.5 of a percentage point to 42.6%. That's nearly 50 freaking percent in the fourth quarter of 2020 compared to the third quarter. That's nearly half your country unemployed, South Africa. But no, we will actually go into this on another time because my time is up here. But yeah, I've always said your economy can't grow if you take one person from the table and put another person at the table. You have not increased the table. The results of the QLFS for the fourth quarter 2020 show that the number of employed people increased by 333,000 to 15 million, and the number of unemployed people also increased by 701,000 to 7.2 million compared to the third quarter of 2020. Resulting in an increase of 1 million, up by 4.9% in the number of people in the labor force. Well, maybe we shouldn't breed as much. Just a thought. But guys, just going to leave you with this one, with the cities and the names and the street changes and everything to that effect. We have the little dude on the right-hand side. We've got the airport name change forum and Rebecca and all the streets and statues and everything like that. And the little dude says, please, sir, can we get toilets at our school first? Because if I'm not mistaken, the toilets where the kid fell down and killed himself have still not been replaced as such. But anyway, that is my view, my questions, my opinion. It's up to you. Please don't forget to drop us a line at, where's my banners? Pepperzecho, PEPRSECHO @gmail.com. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this video far and wide as well. So going from my side, thank you very much to those that are watching. Linda, you always rock. Thank you so much. And yeah, I'm also looking greatly forward to Ronaldo to pop in as well for and be on the show. But guys, yeah, it sounds like a shit show, but I have another stream called The Motley Mix, and we spoke. Thanks a lot. Take care, Linda. Called The Motley Mix, and today we spoke about something. We can't go to places and that, yeah, so there's two other couples and us, and my wife and myself, we chat, and today we just chatted about giving for a change. So you know what, if you don't think there's a difference, just give a small thing. You don't have to have money. You know what? Give me a smile. Smile at the next person. It's making that one difference. So guys, be good, take care, and if you can't be good, remember, be kind. Always. Just